Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. We got Kraken in the SEC, motion to dismiss. Grayscale's in the news about an Ethereum spot ETF. And we got XRP use case utility flares in the news. AMM vote, where is it at? We're going to tell you just how close it is again. The Federal Reserve on stable coins. And oh my, are you going to want that just like you're going to want this XRP chart with the Fibonacci levels. It is amazing. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Join us at digitalperspectives.com in the Freedom Zone. Great way to support the channel. $2.05 trillion market cap for crypto. 0.7% off on the last 24 hours. 50,800 plus for Bitcoin. 2,900 plus for Ethereum. 97.6 billion plus for Tether market cap. XRP is 53 cents. Off by 2.3 in the 24 and off by 4.8 in the 7-day. Could this be that big pullback that everybody has talked about before we eventually get this big push in price in XRP and the market overall? You know, don't forget that we have to understand at some point, this is why I call the market cap for USD Tether, isn't it? We need to completely know how the U.S. government, the Treasury, and the Fed, as a private central bank, have really felt about USD Tether selling the only product that the Federal Reserve has ever had, which is a Federal Reserve note, right? We shall see. I know it gets old. People are like, yeah. You know what? I thought Binance was too big to go down. What happened there? Want to take a second and phone a friend? I'm not saying it goes away completely. I'm just saying, you know, they are partnered with the Secret Service, which is original mission as the Secret Service is to catch counterfeiters of the U.S. dollar. Range of prices between 53 and 55 cents. Again, we're going to look at a chart. I think you're going to like it a lot at the end of this video. Right now, it's iTrust Capital. Look, the best gold, silver, crypto IRAs on the planet. I'm not hyping you with a line. I've done the work. And by the way, anything on this channel you hear me talk about as an offer, it's because I was a customer first. That's what I understand. And I hope that everybody here understands it too. I don't offer anything that I wasn't a customer first of. And I never, ever, and I mean ever, sell something I don't use. Period. Full stop. So at the end of the day, I want all of you to know this is the best gold, crypto, silver, IRA on the planet. And with all the excitement of ETFs and all of those things, which are fantastic to come to the market, I think we will see them continue to spur en masse. I want to say this to you. You do not have a back office with your ETF. You do not have the freedom that you have when you're buying tax-free crypto products inside of your iTrust account. If you see the market going south, you can move it into dollars. You can move it out of there and sit it in your account and wait for the market to turn around. You don't need to ride it down. You have the power inside of your back office to control these things. And imagine what's going to come. By the way, we're going to have the iTrust CEO on stage at XRP Las Vegas. Can we ask him if they're going to be offering exposure to ETFs in our back office? Because I think it might be coming. I want to shout out Glint. Yeah, you know him. Jason Cousins, the CEO of Glint. Remember when they were talking about him on the state floor in Texas? Well, he just got done testifying in the state of Kansas on the state legislature floor there. So this is starting to become a trend for Mr. Jason Cousins and the Glint Company. Glint Pay is where you can buy, save, send, and spend real gold instantly with Glint with your MasterCard debit card. And it's not paper gold, it's physically allocated gold to you. And there are multiple states now entertaining Glint as a way to introduce gold as legal tender to obfuscate the trouble that's coming with the US dollar. More on that in a moment. Coinbase hits $1 billion in trading volume outside of the United States. Well, how proud Joe Biden must be and the administration. Nice one, guys. Shoving all that offshore. Super smart. Right? No, not so much. Oh boy. Again, I just think this speaks to the way Brad Garlinghouse had mentioned and brought up again how the U.S. is a laggard when it comes to regulatory legislative clarity in the crypto space. We have to have this. Look, we can't sit back and, it can happen. It is happening right now, but I hope there are people with enough sense and enough moxie to get everybody, and maybe the real statement is maybe there's enough people left that aren't compromised that still want to see America thrive and be a leader the way it always has been. And I hope that that is not something that is a trend that's ending, but a trend that is still continuing. We will follow it closely. Kraken, in the meantime, has filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit filed against it by the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. Now, it's like you come here, you see Coinbase moving outside with massive volume with their platform outside of the U.S. Kraken's trying to get a motion to dismiss because the SEC won't stop. Congress is hanging back and watching all of this happen. They have the power to fix it and have not. I have speculated the subpoena we were supposed to get from Patrick McHenry to subpoena Gary Gensler to testify in front of Congress. Trying to see that as half full, that they have not exercised that right yet. And I'm only hoping that because they have not exercised the right to subpoena Gary Gensler in front of Congress, that maybe that's why we run a tight, small window and opportunity of getting stablecoin legislation passed first quarter this year by April. And if that happens, maybe that's why Maxine Waters says we're very close, because they don't want their little puppet Gary Gensler forced under subpoena to testify in front of Congress. It will be a much different experience for him. So maybe that is being held back as leverage to get stablecoin legislation done. I don't know the answer. I'm just trying to remain optimistic until we find out exactly what's going on. Now, you can breathe a sigh of relief. I'm not going to play the whole clip here, but I tell you what, the whole thing's worth watching. But I want to give you the first minute and a half. You need that. This is about an Ethereum ETF. Is a matter of when, says the CEO of Grayscale, not a matter of if. Take a listen here.
Well, we do have an application on file. Grayscale sponsors ticker ETHE, right. Grayscale Ethereum Trust, largest Ethereum fund in the world. An spot Ethereum ETF is a matter of when, not a matter of if. And
you say that because, with such confidence.
I say that with confidence because my team has been doing the tough work to move this industry forward, work constructively with regulators, focus on disclosure, investor protections, and that's been true for Bitcoin. Proud of the work we did with GBTC, and now
do you think? Look, it took a lawsuit to get Gary Gensler to back down on this, right? I mean, and we just had Gary here recently, and you saw that interview. I'd love to get your reaction to it, but clearly, left to his own devices, this is not the outcome that he would have preferred. Mm-hmm. I think that's, at least in between the lines, that's what I think he has said.
Well, he actually wrote a pretty strong dissenting letter around this and really focused on the Grayscale lawsuit the day that the approvals for spot Bitcoin ETFs came out.
And so, which then begs the question, on the Ethereum front, if that is to move forward in a meaningful way, does that require another suit?
It's too early to say. It's too early to say. I think we have a similar dynamic in the market where the SEC has allowed for and approved Ethereum futures ETFs to come to market. The data suggests in a very similar way to Bitcoin that spot Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures have an inextricable tie. The markets have a 99.9% correlation. Same is true around Ethereum. And so we do have a very similar dynamic here.
No doubt about it. Got to give him credit where credit's due. However, don't forget. I mean, one, I personally believe, and I believe Digital Asset Investor believes something along the same lines, that they're trying to rush these products out on top of Ethereum because they know Ethereum was launched in a very unregulated way. I'm being polite for the short story here. But what I'd say to add to that notion is also remember Fred Rispoli from Hodl Law, shout out to Fred, forced the SEC to admit that there had not been any designation or clarity given from the SEC on Ethereum at all. So there's a few things here that got to get cleared up, but I do see ultimately, just for clarity, yes, there will ultimately somewhere down the line be an Ethereum ETF, just as I believe, obviously, XRP and thousands of other crypto ETFs as well. This is going to be an enormous market and new offering of asset class, period. That's how I see this. They're not just doing a few of these. There's going to be thousands of these things. So I can see it coming, and I'm sure you guys can too. So we'll see how this shakes out, because it really matters, right? It matters because we know that Ethereum had an initial coin offering that obviously there was a blind eye turned towards, and we need to see the SEC try to salvage some integrity by acknowledging that that happened. Right? And not acknowledging that that happened means that our country's much further along down the shitter than we thought before. By the way, that's a technical term. Yeah, got it from college. I didn't graduate, but obviously you can tell it was a very, very key. I was very good at listening, right? So Megan says here, Michael Shaughnessy's great sale video about the ETF for ETH, and added to this, and shout out to Megan, give her a follow. Megan does great work out here. So does everybody like Chad Steingraber. We got to celebrate everybody out here. That's the way I like to do it. A U.S. SEC approved spot ETF is going to happen one way or another, says Chad. The SEC will be forced to approve it and approve them all, just like Bitcoin. And, this is where Chad and I certainly align in a lot of things, and this is certainly one of them. They're going. All of these assets are going to get all of these, viable assets, right? That not they're all getting it. It's going to happen. You're going to see it. It's going to be a brand new market. This is just the beginning, and we're here to watch it unfold. But let's talk about something else that's starting to unfold. One, Flare has been surging in price, so shout out to all the Flare holders. I'm trying to pat my back in the process of talking to you. Look, this has been a project that we're all excited to see, and it's still early and it's still coming into play, right? But it is super exciting to think of the fact that you could have all of these unrealized gains from your portfolio. The opportunity to take your assets and put them somewhere like on Flare Networks as F assets, or to even delegate your Flare or your Songbird to help with the test net or the actual platform itself. All of these things are speaking to use case for your digital assets, right? That's the larger part of what's coming. And to the point that Anders is talking about here, he starts off by saying, what's a major reason Flare is surging in price, basically? People have a financial incentive to participate in the network. Now, looking at the XRP ledger, look at the coming automated market maker for the XRP ledger, which will give people a financial incentive to participate. Yes, we know about impermanent loss risk. I'm so glad Anders put that in there too, because it is an unknown, right? And we need to find out about that. I have made it clear that I would be excited to take a sample size of XRP versus something else and put it in an automated market maker liquidity pool to learn, to see how it operates, to understand what the pros and cons of that may be or not, right? Because it is new. But again, speaking to the idea and understanding that when you can bring use case to a network, and in the situation of the automated market makers, you're talking about building liquidity while the automated market makers continue to tighten out and squeeze out the arbitrageurs, tighten those spreads, and get rid of the slippage. You're really talking about transforming, I believe, the characteristics of XRP, the token, because of these new features coming to the ledger. Let's think about this for a second. Pathfinding. The ability, we talked about this in 2019 with Bob Way, the ability to source a single payment settlement by crossing multiple payment networks to do so. This way, you could take the liquidity needed to satisfy that payment from more than one place instead of just one place. This is just one example of how that can work. Then you think about auto bridging, the ability to integrate the synthetic order book with the direct order books that exist. So you're talking about creating XRP pairings with the direct pairings that list and exist today in FX and crypto. This integration of these things and multiple other things are going to change the XRP ledger forever. And when they do, it's going to change what we understand about the asset. And in turn, it may change the way you think of the asset as an investor, as a developer, as a business owner, an entrepreneur. Whatever the reason you hold XRP or you're in this space, it can absolutely change the way you understand this asset and the way you decide to move forward with it. This is why I absolutely tell you, this is the God's honest truth. And by the way, we're going to be sold out of VIP tickets for XRP Las Vegas within the next couple days. If you want a VIP ticket, please go get your ticket, because it's going to sell out and there will be no more. And I want everybody to get what they want. So if you want it, please go get it. But this is going to be an important conference, and it's clear all the way that the tickets are selling very rapidly right now. And in the next day or so, they're going to become completely off limit. It'll be sold out. The VIP will be sold out. And then there'll be general admission tickets. And remember, that ticket is a 2-day ticket, so it doesn't cost that much per day to come find out this information directly from people like David Schwartz about the things that are happening with the XRP ledger and how it may change the way it operates going forward forever. You know, this is why I'm saying, and Andrew says this, and I think he's got it spot on here, because you add in legislative clarity, regulatory clarity for digital assets broadly, and understand that the automated market maker will be the engine of growth for XRP Ledger. Absolutely. And as David Schwartz has said, and that growth is not going to come from within the ecosystem. I believe it comes from outside of the ecosystem. And I believe, to speak from my own point of view here, that outside source of growth is going to come from the financial industry when that clarity exists, and understanding that automated market makers and liquidity pools may qualify in a regulator and financier's eyes, that this looks more like a stabilization mechanism. And this is how close we are to getting those automated market makers back over the 80% consensus vote, and then it holds for 2 weeks and becomes a permanent amendment and feature to the ledger. How exciting. We are 2 votes away from the automated market maker reaching that point. So exciting. And I want to share this with you when it comes to stable coins. You know, I will be talking with a fireside chat with Christian Carlo, former CFTC commissioner and the co-founder of the Digital Dollar Project for the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to tell you right now that stable coins will be a big part of the conversation with Christian Carlo, because I've already confirmed that stable coins can act like a sponge to soak up the treasury bills and notes, the possibly hyperinflated dollars and notes. And listen what's said here and shared by Matt Hogan here from Bitwise. And I want you to hear what he is sharing here from the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, for which we know Michael S. Barr is now a part of. That said, it is possible that technological progress may solidify the dominant role of the dollar. How are you going to do that? For example, about 99% of the stablecoin market capitalization is linked to the US dollar, implying that crypto assets are de facto traded in US dollars. And it also speaks to the idea of this. That progress may solidify the dominant role of the dollar, because if you give the ability of private companies, financial institutions and the like, maybe even Amazons of the world, that they could issue under prudential regulation a properly regulated stablecoin, well, you've created new use cases to soak up all these treasury bills, haven't you? Hyperinflated or not. And as they said, already 99% of stablecoin market cap is linked to the US dollar in trade. So if we get to clarity, we are number one. Think about that. Based on the Fibonacci chart, it looks like some point not too far in the future, XRP going to be number one. Look at these extensions here from the Fib chart. Using the logarithmic chart and Fibonacci levels, XRP should hit $10 And at the 0.527 and 0.618, which is a very important line to the XRP charts, $39. And at the 0.702 as well, 387 at the 1 mark. What are these marks? You can see these fib levels right here, as you can see these different lines and levels. And these are the price points he's talking about, the one being the top up here, right? But obviously we know that we've got a road in front of us. And we know that technical analysts have told us that we may see a dip down. It may spike down here, right? Boom. It may come down and hit that line or go even below it a little bit if it's going to repeat like it did in the years prior. We don't know, but I tell you what, stablecoin legislation would certainly help the cause for the entire digital asset space. We're going into the Freedom Zone, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to look at the top 5 things that could affect XRP price this morning. We're going to get into that right here in the Freedom Zone. We're going to ask AI what's going on here. Let's see what their take is on it. We're going into the Freedom Zone right now. digitalperspectives.com, not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you in the Freedom Zone. Come on in.